Hey guys, it's me, John Avenger again. I'm doing another video. This is Hit Movies That Disappointed Me number 7. This is a movie that came out last year that I didn't care for, and I saw it this year on my computer, and it was the most boring of the series that I have seen, and that is 2013's Man of Steel. Yep, I did not enjoy this film. I did a video last year that got a lot of hate, that people were giving me crap about. Oh, this movie's awesome. You just didn't get it. No, I got the film. I saw the 2 hours and 20 something minutes of this film. It was boring. Every single second of this movie, just it kept going on and on and on. It was just the first movie, of Superman, and the second film spliced together, and just it was bloated and way too long, and just freaking, the dialogue was nothing. The characters were just nothing. The CGI was just way too ugly, especially in the fight scenes. It just looked like a video game. There's a lot of things that took me out of the film, like Jonathan Kent's saying, "Oh, young Clark is like, oh, you just wanted me to let them die," and he's like, "Maybe." I'm like, what kind of a reaction is that? See, the story made no sense. Nolan did not need to be involved with this. And Zack Snyder just, this is one of his most disappointing films. I mean, the last film I saw with him was Sucker Punch, and I was disappointed with that. But this was even just as crushing because it was Superman. It's a no-brainer. I don't know how they could turn this story, this lighthearted character, oh, excuse me, into a very dull, black, darkened version of Superman. Just Zod was over the top and cartoonish, played by Michael Shannon. He's the only thing that got me through the film in a way, because he's like, I will find him, and I was laughing my ass off. It was just too over the top. I mean, he was trying to do like the Joker did in The Dark Knight when he said, "Why so serious?" It was the same thing repeated 4 times, but not as memorable. Lois, but Amy Adams, I'm sorry, does not look anything like Lois. She's not a brunette. She didn't have any of Lois's characteristics. It's just, she's a good actress. I really enjoy Amy Adams, but here I just thought that she was wasted. Uh, Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White was completely wasted. No Jimmy Olsen. It's like when they did Amazing Spider-Man and it didn't have J. Jonah Jameson. The film, the first hour of the film is completely boring. There's no Superman. Henry Cavill just didn't do much for me. I prefer Christopher Reeve. He always will be Superman to me. And I prefer Dean Cain as well in the Lois and Clark TV series. That's more faithful to the comics than this crap. I mean, it was just, it tried to be this movie. It tried to be something that it wasn't. That was my problem with this film. It was trying to be like Batman Begins for Superman movies, and it doesn't work. I'm sorry, the $200 million were completely wasted on this film. This film could have been 30 minutes shorter and it wouldn't have made a difference, because it was trying to be the first movie so much that I felt like, what is this, a reboot or a remake? I don't think this was needed. After Superman Returns, they should have just went forward with a sequel to that instead of doing the origin story again. Stop doing the origin story for the superheroes that we already know. We've already been through this before in the 70s and the 80s. We don't need it done over and over again. It just makes it tedious. It's the same story. Uh, some of the changes that they made to Krypton, making it look like Pandora from Avatar, just didn't work for me. Some of the acting was a little bit off. Excuse me. I'm a little tired. I'm doing this early in the morning. Anyway, some of the acting, like Jor-El's wife was a freaking zombie, looking like this. She's like falling asleep during the film. I thought Diane Lane was good in the film. She was one of the only natural actors in the film that didn't. She wasn't over the top or cartoonish or just completely bland. The film is shot well in certain places. I think the film looks good in some places, like when they show what was it, Smallville. That didn't look too bad. The score is decent. I will say that, but it's not as good as John Williams' score from the original. Um, there's way too many flashbacks. It's one of the problems I have with the Tomorrow People, that instead of doing a fluid plot, you know, that when they show when he was a boy and then he becomes a man. No, they go from he's a boy, then he's a man, then he's a boy again, then he's a man, then bam, 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 and vice versa. It just goes all over the place. You don't know where the plot's going. It's just got way too much happening. The Tomorrow People did that. They made they did like 5 flashbacks in one episode, and I'm like, that wasn't needed. I'm sorry. It's just convoluted. It just makes people confused. You gotta have a fluid story. Avengers had that. It had the beginning and a middle and an end. This just had a beginning, then in the middle, and then it went back to the beginning, and then it went into the middle, and then it had an ending that was just a ripoff of Transformers: Dark of the Moon, and every other superhero film I've seen that has the we're gonna destroy a city just because. Just the special effects. Some of them look good, some of it just looked really awful, and I've seen better. Even the first film didn't have effects this bad. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm doing this video tired. You know, I've had a rough week. Um, anyway, I wanted to really bash on this film because I don't want to do another video on it of why it disappointed me. Why it disappointed me? Because it was a simple Superman story. We didn't need a origin story. The origin could have been 5 minutes, and you could have gone right to the action of Superman saving people, and you know, him fighting Zod and not destroying half the city and then making it look like 9/11. I don't want to be reminded of that day. It was horrible. As a New Yorker, it's haunting. I mean, I gotten over it, but still, I don't want to be reminded every single time I watch a movie, especially films like this, that it's just destruction just for the sake of destroying things. It didn't have a meaning. You know, it's just like, oh, there's a tall building, let's knock it down and destroy it and make it just completely over the top. That just I didn't. It took me out of the film. You know, just make a simple Superman movie. Don't make it stupid and overlong and just trying to be something that it is. Superman and Batman are not the same hero. I'm sorry. You know, they do completely different things. Batman is the dark brooding loner, and Superman is the lighthearted, you know, uh, devil may care for you know, all around good guy that does everything by the books. But you know, this movie just didn't do it for me. I don't care about a sequel. The only thing that could save Batman versus Superman is Ben Affleck as Batman, because we've never seen Ben Affleck play Batman before, and it's not going to be Nolan's version. And if they do it right, if they play the cards right, maybe the Justice League film can work. But you know, Henry Cavill as Superman and just the way they changed him just didn't work for me. The sequel, you know, the Batman versus Superman movie, make it simple. Don't do the origin story for Batman again. We know where he came from. Just have these two go at it and then and then come together at the end. And don't rush Wonder Woman's story arc. We don't need that. Don't do too much in this. That's what they didn't do with Avengers. Don't make one movie that you want to put everything into the movie, and you know, all these references to Justice League, and then just make it 2.5 hours of boredom. No, make it simple. Get these characters together and do it right. That's what Avengers did. That's why people kept going to see it, because it was done right. This, I don't know. I'm still iffy on. I just hope Ben Affleck does well and he kicks the crap out of Henry Cavill, because I'm a Batman fan. I know I'm going in with bias, but I know that because I love Batman. And Superman I enjoy, but Henry Cavill I just don't enjoy him as Superman. If they can change him from the way he was in Man of Steel, from not giving a shit to giving a shit, maybe I can at least tolerate him in the Batman versus Superman. But a sequel, I just don't want to see it. I'm sorry, but that's my box office hits of a movie that disappointed me. Number 7. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Me bashing on this film because I needed to vent out this frustration from last year. And I will talk to you guys next time. Later.